We're falling behind. Any ideas? Abstract could probably be reached with our capabilities. Could we gain any data from it, however? Look, we need to rush for any milestones we can. It's getting rough in the Australian Parliament. I'm not sure we can count on them continuing to fund us without more milestones being reached. Our current launch vehicle was selected out of E for the higher-end inclined orbits customers want. We could use some of the unused Silver Spear launch vehicle parts. We must pursue greater capabilities as fast as possible. As work continues on new satellites, another sounding rocket is launched by the United People's Republics of Usonia. The Pan-Slavic Empire has increasingly been facing internal instability, intensified by contrast between the failure of the nation to provide for many citizens, whilst monarchy continues to engage in seemingly senseless waste of resources. Among some radicals, the monarchy is being seen as a parasitic, foreign entity, a sentiment promoted by Australian and Usonian propaganda. To partially combat this, the flag of the empire is announced by Tsar Alexei II to be redesigned, featuring the symbol of the monarchy now placed directly on the Pan-Slavic colors, as opposed to a canton. Whilst it does little to combat growing resentment, increasingly dealt with through military force, this does mean that a new flag shall fly over Saikovsky Cosmodrome. As the only superpower to not reach orbit, the Federal Union of Crenia makes another attempt. With upgraded tracking facilities, it is hoped better control of the vehicle can be maintained. Unfortunately, the second stage suffers a complete failure, and Asterix 3 is lost. Facing falling funding, Usonia briefly returns to the Emerald Sounding Rocket program to gain more valuable contracts. All three space agencies continue performing mundane tests of experimental equipment, gaining valuable data whilst doing so. The craft lands on a rather scenic mountainside and is successfully recovered. Following the success of Vanguard 1, Usonia pursues a more advanced satellite, equipped with a transponder to relay signals between ground stations, greatly expanding the uses of satellites. The first satellite of this type, internally named Confner, is ready for launch on Eto E, and aims to reach a specific inclined orbit to communicate between Usonia and its allies. With that communication signal is now broadcast across Kerbin, and the military use is clear, a whole new world of communication satellites is opened. Yet again, the craft lands on a mountainside, was successfully recovered. Yet again, a launch attempt of the Diomede BP-4 is made. Most unexpected maneuvers are conducted, the vehicle survives and regains attitude control. Far behind Usonia and the Pan-Slavic Empire, Usonia has reached orbit. Immediately, plans for a new launch vehicle to launch commercial satellites are drawn up. With the success of Vanguard 2, a new satellite bus was created, outfitted with stronger transponders. The new Messenger satellite sees its first flight on the Eto E. Also, it aims for a polar orbit. The craft had followed an incorrect guidance program, failing to place Vanguard 3 in orbit. The satellite falls back to Kerbin and is destroyed on re-entry. Echoing previous R-Series missions, the craft sustained severe damage on landing and all data is lost. Once again, redesigns are needed. Upon liftoff, an aggressive pitch maneuver is conducted. So aggressive, in fact, that the vehicle falls short of the target altitude. However, despite the setback, work continues to improve starting and tracking facilities to eventually allow for precise control over orbital maneuvers. By landing in water, R5-30 survives. Just an hour after R5-30, another attempt is made to launch a communication satellite. Once orbit is achieved, performance losses prevent the satellite from achieving proper orbital height. Clearly, a more powerful vehicle is needed. Following the previous failures, a new upper stage with a new engine was developed. The Bell upper stage is designed for multi-purpose use, with possible evolutions already considered. Launching a prototype configuration, the stage lacks many of the proposal's elements. The thrust-to-weight ratio is greatly increased from the high mass of the upper stage. However, Eto Bell still lifts off. However, despite higher Delta V, Messenger falls short of orbit. Impressed by a vehicle surviving, more funding was awarded to the space program by the Imperial Parliament. Launching during the solar eclipse, when the gas giant ceiling passes between its moon Kerbin and the Sun, Emerald 38 is otherwise unremarkable. At TU-42, R5-32 would fly an uneventful mission, largely overshadowed by preparations for a more substantial operation at Tchaikovsky Cosmodrome. Later at 4:13, Emerald 39 would fly a marginally more interesting mission, bringing the first photographs from space using a small camera mounted on the payload truss. Following Eto Bell's previous failure, USI has responded by adding 2 SRBs to the first stage. Pushing the mass limit of their launch infrastructure, the vehicle would have the energy for future satellite missions. Both SRBs fail spectacularly. Later in flight, the Bell upper stage engine also fails, ending the mission. Short on funds, Usonia resumes Hornet bumper flights. Carrying an advanced biological payload, Hornet Bumper 21 has a radically different design from previous Hornet rockets. Also, it uses its battery as a heat shield. At 1:54, an aircraft is rolled out to the Tchaikovsky Cosmodrome runway, a first for a space program. The aircraft is a surplus Ka-7 used by the Pan-Slavic Empire during the Second Great War. In the pilot seat, Oleg Kadnikov awaits clearance from the tower. Kadnikov, son of a prominent colonel general, had already flown this aircraft before, having served in the final months of the war just a few years ago. Now he enlists in the space program to continue his passion for flying. However, as Kadnikov goes to start the engine, it immediately suffers a mechanical failure. Later at 4:44, an unremarkable R5 flight occurs, whilst Ka-7 is repaired. At 2:34, the repaired Ka-7 finally takes off, with Kadnikov still as the pilot. In addition to atmospheric data, this flight campaign will test an emergency parachute system. Just a few hours later, at 4:02, another flight is conducted. Following an inspection of the airframe to see a stress caused by a peculiar landing, and the replacement of the damaged propeller. Following 2 landings by parachute, the airframe is deemed unsafe, and another Ka-7 is requested. Occurring 32 minutes before the Ka-7's second flight, Aeronaut 40 repeats Flight 39, capturing similar photos on a successful launch. The SRBs complete their burn, putting Vanguard 7 on the correct trajectory. Unfortunately, both guidance inefficiency and engine failure doomed the satellite again. Yet another nominal Emerald flight occurs. That Emerald flight is followed by another Hornet bumper flight, collecting more data. At 7:21, Emerald 42 launches on yet another successful flight, as Crenia continues to prepare for more satellite launches. And at 7:26, R5-35, a similar success, whilst a K7 is prepared. Once again, it will lead Jacktical flies a K7, aiming to reach 2.5 kilometers in altitude to collect atmospheric data. Landing is nominal, and plans are drawn up for future aircraft that actually achieve new milestones. At 4:37, Vanguard 8 would launch and suffer an SRB failure. Due to a risk to the Space Center facilities, the range safety officer would terminate the flight. Off the Australian Space Center at 7 o'clock, Airline 43 would launch and follow the trend of Australian successes. And 11 minutes later, R5-36 would be similar. Finally, Crenia's new launch vehicle had finished development. The Silver Diomede, a combination of the Diomede and Silver Spear concepts, used liquid fuel upper stages to gain more precise maneuver capabilities in higher delta V. The Gamma 2 engine of the second stage would shut down prematurely, ending the flight. Yet another Slavic Sounding Rocket. Work is underway for a new Slavic rocket to match the Silver Diomede and Eto Bell. Asteroid 6 and Vanguard 9 would launch at 1:30 and 4:33 respectively, and both would suffer failures preventing them from reaching orbit. The increasing cost of these failures put strain on the budgets of UNSA and CASA. However, the potential benefits from regular satellite launches kept the programs going. Like on Asterix 5, the Gamma team would shut down, doing yet another Asterix satellite. The Vanguard program has now reached 10 launches, far more than originally planned. As NAME is now connected with so many launch failures, it's determined that after the next successful flight, the new program shall be started. That is, assuming another success occurs. On the positive side, substantial data is gathered from failures, allowing for new engine developments. For the first time, a precise maneuver is plotted to guide asteroids into orbit. Finally, asteroids has reached orbit. Mission control erupts into cheers as funding is secured for CASA. Following their success, CASA is quick to prepare their silver diamide to fulfill another contract. The influx of funds, more upgrades are made to Usonian space center facilities, allowing for future, more ambitious missions. Unfortunately, attitude control would be lost, and the vehicle would once again fail. Now falling behind, the Pan-Slavic Empire makes its own attempt to begin regular satellite launches. The vehicle progresses at a stage as expected. However, the new DU-49 engine of the upper stage suffers a catastrophic failure, dooming the mission. With greater R&D on the engines and tuning of the launch guidance, asteroids attempt launches without a hitch. The correct orbit is achieved, and Crenia begins earning large sums of funds. The 301 Rodina 4 would finally succeed, achieving Kerbin orbit and securing satellite contracts. In keeping with this trend, at 323, Asterix 11 would fly eventfully. With momentum building a simpler launch vehicle, Crenia would greatly increase its launch cadence. This increase is best shown by another orbital launch just days later. Successfully reaching orbit, Asterix 12 would fly uneventfully. Surprisingly, the Pan-Slavic Empire encounters yet another launch failure. This comes as a shock, as the Empire had expected the DU-49 to be fully developed by this point. Finally, Usonia had succeeded at a satellite launch. With this, the Vanguard program is ended, and a new program is announced shortly after. Rather embarrassingly, the second stage RCS would fail to activate, preventing the ignition of the second stage engine. Yes, I did forget to check my staging. Following the end of the Vanguard program, Usonia has now begun the Revolution program. While with name, it's the exact same. Although the program sees the use of the new repeater satellite bus. The program starts with a success. Configured properly, Rudin 7 is able to successfully reach orbit, marking yet another addition to a growing population of LPO satellites. Ending off the first 150 days of the space age, Usonia would launch Asterix 15 at 251, successfully reaching orbit, whilst Usonia got Revolution 2 into orbit at 302. Pressured by swinging Parliament, Director General George Van Kerman and high-level administrators decided to implement new programs for allowing commercial customers to have satellites launched. With this, CASA can now expect contracts of more varied value compared to those from previous customers. At the end of these 70-ish days, the three agencies currently possess these main resources. These technologies have upgraded the following facilities. Despite the major failure streaks throughout, overall the three agencies now stand near equal and now look beyond LKO and towards the near moons. Thank you for watching. This is my first time trying to do more serious storytelling. If you want more content like this, please like, subscribe, and or comment on this video. If you have suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Goodbye.